Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Yoga and Meditation, Religion and Spirituality. My name is Swami Kappananda, and I welcome all of you, my brothers and sisters, to come and join me in this moment as we talk about an important part of Hindu society in years gone by. Today, we are going to talk about the four ashramas. This was a code that was followed by the Hindus in the earlier days. Life was divided into four segments, each one existing for around 25 years. The first part was called Brahmacharya Ashrama. Now, in these four ashramas, Brahmacharya Ashrama, Brahma means God, or like God the Father, you could say, and Acharya is the one who walks the path of. So the one who walks the path of Brahma is called a brahmachari. And in Brahmacharya Ashrama, the child that was born, the male child, at around the age of 7, was taken by the teachers into the forest. The lady child, the girl child, was left in the village or in the place where they were born and trained by the parents to do the rest of the work that would be needed for a woman to do. So the job was divided between the male and the female. The woman took care of the children, she took care of the house, she did the domestic chores. The man was the breadwinner. So at 7 he would go and sit under the tree with the gurus and he would learn. And this is where the Upanishads were written. Upanishads mean to be sitting under the tree. And at around the age of 25, when he had mastered life, in this 25 years total, he would come back to his home. Okay. Now, at around 25, when he returned from the forest, he would start the next stage of his life, which was Grihastha-ashrama, the householder life. In this householder life, he was expected to take care of his wife, to have a normal relationship with the woman. Remember, before he left, he was married to the girl that he would come back to. Now, many people think this was child marriage. This was not really child marriage. There was no consummation. He was just being told to be prepared for the girl that would be part of his life when he came back. Okay, and they took religiously the need to live in complete accordance with the rules of society. He comes back at 25. Now the father of that family, the boy's father, he is 50. It is time for him to go to the third stage of life, which is Vanaprastha-ashrama, which is living in the forests. So this is how there was a recycling that would take place. So the child would take, the 25-year-old now would take control of the house, and his father would go into the forest. And there, in the third stage of life in Vanaprastha-ashrama, he would sit and meditate and prepare to fulfill his desire to come in touch with God. So, I have done my education, I have raised my children, and now I am free to look for God. So these people lived in the forest, they lived off the fruits of the trees, they had nothing much with them except for 3 items. And we will realize as we go along that these 3 items are very crucial, because today, when we grow older, we want to have more and more, a support structure, more money, a nest egg, houses, cars. In those days, it was about having less and less. So all they had with them was a stool to sit on, which was called an asana. And that is where the word asan comes from. It was a plank nailed onto 2 side planks, determining the height. And the height was determined by how high your legs were when you sat simple cross legs. So you'd sit simple cross legs on the floor, and the height from under the thigh to the floor would be the height of the planks on the side. So each one had a tailor-made asan. That was one of the items. The second items that the wandering meditator had in his third stage of life was a brass pot with water, so that as he walked in the forest, if he was thirsty, he always had water to quench his thirst. And the third item was a yoga danda. It was a vertical bamboo about 1.5 to 2 feet in height, with a cross blank nail to it, which he would put under his armpit. So if his left nostril was blocked, it appears right over there because of the video. When his left nostril was blocked, he would lean down on his right side with that plank under his armpit and the bamboo onto the floor. And he would pressurize that region, thereby releasing the blockage on the opposite side. This was called a yoga danda. So these three were his only possessions. He would throw the asan over his shoulder, and he would hold a plank and the pot, and he would walk in the forest. Eventually, he learned that if he could bring his feet up, foot, and place that foot under his armpit and lean on it, he did not need the yoga danda. So now he's left with two items: the asan to sit on and the pot of water. Over the years, they learned that if you sat in Padmasana, which is 1 foot over the other, cross-legged posture, the weight of the feet on the thighs would keep the back erect. Remember, you are using the asana to sit upright. If you sit on the floor, your back will become convex. If your knees are below the hips, your back will become concave. So you don't want to hyperextend or the other way around with your lower back. You want to keep it in its normal state of curvature. That's what the asana was for. This was now achieved by putting 1 foot on top of the other, where the weight on the thighs would automatically raise the spine up. And that is why they speak so highly of Padmasana. Padmasana is that same posture, cross-legged posture. Because when you do Padmasana, you don't have to carry that asana with you when you go around in the forest. So now you don't need the yoga danda. By doing the yoga dandasana, you've eliminated the need for a yoga danda. By doing Padmasana, you've eliminated the need for an asana to sit on. So all that you're left is this little copper pot called a lota, in which you would fill water and take with you in the forest. If you know very well, the meditators always sat along the banks of the river Ganges. And there was a reason for that. Whenever they were thirsty, they would get up and drink directly from the river which was flowing. It was basically glacial melt, it was very pure. And if you had that ability to walk across and drink the water, you did not need a lota. So you are completely independent of any type of external needs to survive. You lived off the trees, you ate from the fruits of the trees. Some of them, to maintain their modesty, would have a small loincloth to cover their privates. Others did not even bother to do that. They just stayed that way. They were not ashamed of anything. They were very free with life. And that is the third stage of the 4 ashramas. So we start again before we go to the fourth one. We started with Brahmacharya ashrama, which begins at around 6 or 7 when you go to the forest and you learn with the teachers under the trees. The reason why a celibate is called a brahmachari today is because when this person was in the forest till the age of 25, there were only men around, there were no women. So by default, he became a celibate. So today celibates are called brahmacharis, but it comes from the fact that in Brahmacharya ashrama, you had no choice. You were a celibate. When you came back home and met the woman that you had married when she was young, that is when life as a householder person began. And that was Grihastha, where everything was normal now, home living, everything. Because if you have not done your duties as a householder, You were not found deserving for the path of spirituality. And at around the age of 50, you went out into the forest and you started meditation. You lived off the trees. Also, all the practices that you did in the first 25 years were now applicable after 50 in the forest. When you are sitting in a world with people around you and trying to silence your thoughts, the first thing that happens, without you even realizing it, is that you start absorbing the thought patterns of others. What other people are thinking become your thoughts. Many times I would be in meditation with my students and they would swear that I could read their minds. And I could swear that I did not. And eventually it hit upon me that this is what was happening. As my mind became silent, it started reflecting the minds of others. So reading other people's minds is a default of silencing your own mind, but you will never know that you're doing that because it will appear to you that it's your own thought. So in the forest, they began to look at the trees, look at the animals, look at the birds, and they could understand the minds of the living beings besides humans. At the age of around 70, 75, this human being who has spent 70, 75 years on this planet would now burn a funeral pyre in his name. And it is there that he became a sannyasin. A sannyasin is not 15, 20 years old. When there is heat in your blood, you cannot be a sannyasin. You have to go through the stages to attain the maturity. So you can only be a sannyasin when you have aged way beyond in life, as a general rule, that is. And these people, they would burn a funeral pyre in their name. They would take a new name, Kripananda, Nityananda, Asnananda, whatever. And now they went around begging for food. They would carry a bowl in their hands and a stick to walk. And they would visit the villages and the people gave freely to them. Freely. Because now they did not have to work anymore for their living. Whatever they got was good enough for them. And if you have not experienced the humility of having to go to somebody and wait on them to serve you food, not knowing what you will get, then you have not really experienced life. Try that one day. Become a homeless person. Go out in the streets. Stand in line. Look at the eyes of people that see you as a homeless person. Look at the eyes of the rich that look at you with disdain sometimes because you're a poor man or because you're a helpless, homeless man. Until you have had that experience, you don't know what it is to be free. And this person now went on to life. I've done everything that I need to do. I just wait on the Lord to take me back. And these were the 4 stages, the 4 ashramas that the Hindus practiced in their daily lives. Thank you for taking time to listen to me. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me in the question and answer section below, in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to help you and to try my best to answer them for you. Having said that, I am not a Mr. Know-it-all. There are a lot of things, the answers to which I don't know. I can try and find those answers, or I have the built-in statement that says, I don't know, and I'm not afraid to say it. Thank you again. Please like and subscribe, ring the notification bell, and share this video with others. Let this video grow. There are so many more that I'm going to bring to you. So many more videos explaining different things of life. But above all, before I finish, I want to say something very important. In my experience, as a person who was born in a Catholic family and then eventually tried to study the ways of the Hindus, in my experience, I have found that there is no such thing as religion. Religion is a business. Spirituality, yes. So don't be religious, be spiritual. Spirituality will take you a long way. Religion will force you to stay in one particular place because religion dictates to you. Spirituality just explains to you. You need to be spiritual. All religions have wonderful things to offer. Don't get stuck in one. If you get stuck in one, you will not be able to experience life in its totality. Go to other religions, experience those religions, and for God's sake, stay away from the one that tells you that mine is the only way. Please do not go to that religion, because that religion is not interested in you. They have made God a product and they are running a business. Thank you for letting me share. Namaste.